Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Toon review for this morning's press conference reaction. Before we can get started, let's just put the screen right here. We're all over the place this morning.
I think nobody noticed.
No, I don't think that. But good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Toon review. My name is Paul. I'm joined, of course, by Billy Bob. Please do give it the thumbs up if you enjoyed the show. And, of course, if you're new and you like what you see, please do subscribe. It is free to do so. And, of course, you can support the channel in the two usual ways. First of all, by membership, which is the join button just underneath me and Billy. And, of course, super chats are available, which is the $ underneath the live chat, which will also guarantee your comment to be read out on the show. We do have some prizes to give away on TTR Friday tonight to our members. So make sure you're signed up, ready to go for that one. It should be a very interesting show. Good morning, Billy.
Good morning, and good morning to all those out there in Viewerland.
Now, we've been up very early this morning, me and you, Billy, for some strange reason. Well, yes. Me with a yappy dog at 10 to 6. You were up at 7. And I still got the start of the show wrong. But never mind.
I still missed the press conference.
Well, yeah, it's a very strange life that we lead, isn't it? But there you go. However, Eddie was in, well, what I believe, he looked in jovial spirits this morning. Had a good laugh with the press as well. And but a lot of the questions were, of course, directed at the England job. And look, once he's answered one question on the England job, can they not, or do they not have the brains to just say, right, let's move on? You know, let's talk about Newcastle United against Brighton tomorrow instead of all the claptrap about England. And he just wasn't bothered. Okay, he wasn't bothered about the England job. He said it a million times. He's fully focused. He said in one answer, he said Newcastle 3 times off the belt, that he was more interested in that than anything else. England may come along in the future, blah blah blah. Just leave it at that. But again, what we found was, every time it bounced to another journalist, or just on the England situation, Eddie. No, I want to know about the Brighton game. What is his team selection going to be like? You know, how is he feeling ahead of the game? But then again, it's to be expected. But you know, I mean, he had a little dig at Craig Hope as well, which I thought was hilarious.
Good.
Well, Craig Hope, I asked him a hypothetical question, and Eddie turned around and said, I don't like answering hypothetical questions, and they mainly always come from you, Craig. So I thought that was very good as well. But listen, we'll start off on Callum Wilson, because obviously everybody wanted to know what was happening with his strikers. For Isak is fit. He's over the toe injury. He's not in any pain anymore, so he is in contention to start tomorrow. However, _____ Callum Wilson. Callum has trained, said Eddie, but we will continue to assess it day by day. We need to make sure it is the right time when we re-enter him back into the group. When we get him back, we want to keep him back for a long time. So it's important we make the right call. So, Billy, Callum Wilson is still not training with the first team.
I'm guessing it's rehabilitation and recuperation from his operation he had. He had a back operation. They're never simple things, are they? And if we're led to believe he had a back operation in the summer, why they kept saying he'll be back in this many times, this many weeks, and then that many weeks has passed and doubled and tripled, and he's still not available. You know, that's the question you've got to ask, really. But I'm looking forward to seeing him come back when he finally does get back, because obviously they want him right, and hopefully this will be the last injury we get with him. He'll leave us in this summer, and he won't be injured ever again.
Yeah, but the problem I've got is, you know, how many times are we going to hear this? You know, Eddie said that he'd be back after the international break the first time, right?
He did, yeah.
He was going to come back before the Brentford game. And then he said after the international break. Then it was after the next international break. It's now over that, and we were expected to have him back for the Brighton game, and he's still not even training with the main group. So, for me, that if he's not training with the main group yet, then he's not even close to coming back, because they have to get him training with the main group before he's even considered to come back. So it's a very, very frustrating. Listen, it will be frustrating for Callum as well. There's no doubt about that. He'll want to be on the pitch. You know, this is nothing against Callum himself, because he's not just sitting on the sidelines, just raking in money. Well, you know, he's injured. And he can't do anything about that. But what I laughed at is sort of, we want him back for a long time. I mean, Callum Wilson and fit for a long time, Billy, don't exactly resonate in the same sentence.
No, they haven't done, certainly for the whole of his career so far. So but they were kind of saying that this operation might alleviate any future kind of damages with his G-string hamstrings, but we shall see. I mean, we've said this before, haven't we? It's usually a quick recoverer, but this occasion, obviously, with this operation, it's not. It's been very slow, and I'm just hoping that it's because they were trying to get him absolutely spot on, and when he comes back to train with his first team, then he's got match sharpness, match fitness to get involved. So we may not see him until bloody Christmas.
Yeah, he's a long way off being in the side, quite clearly. Certainly further off than what we originally thought, because we were all as fans thinking, Callum and Isak are going to be there, both available for the Brighton game, and Eddie will have some options. It certainly looks like Isak's going to be fit, because, as I say, he did say that Callum was out, and then he said Isak was not feeling any pain in his toe anymore. He said the reason he was missing was because he couldn't put up with the pain from his toe, so that's why he was out injured. But apparently he's feeling nothing now and is ready to go. Yeah, we just have to wait and see. Ollie says, are you going to the match tomorrow, Paul? I'm not. The reason I'm not is obviously because of family commitments tomorrow. With Susan being so poorly, I don't want to go too far away in case something happens. I'm sure you can all understand that. So I will be commentating on the game with my good old pal there, Billy, and enjoy it from the comfort of my studio. I'm gutted I can't go, obviously, but family has to come first. And if Susan did need me, then I'm on hand, and Billy can take over the commentary, etc. And all is good, and I don't have to get back from busy Newcastle. So I'll be doing the commentary, so I'll still be watching the game. But as I say, doing it with my old mucker Billy again tomorrow, which I am thoroughly looking forward to. And we have some big changes coming up on the watch along from hopefully next week. But we're not saying anything else. You will have to keep watching, and but it's looking good, Billy, isn't it? It's looking good.
Oh yes.
Yeah, we are taking hopefully the channel to the next level with new additions, not co-hosts or anything like that. We're talking about software and stuff. So hopefully it'll be all ready to go for some of the daily news shows next week, and possibly and certainly the watch along. So that is exciting stuff coming up. But on Isak, Billy, where do you stand on him at the minute? Because obviously, don't stand on his toe, please. But he's obviously, he's trained this week. Eddie said he's had a good week of training. He's ready to go, but he has to be ready to go more than what he's been ready in the past few games, hasn't he? He's got to start firing.
Yeah, give him an hour tomorrow. I mean, he hasn't played for a few weeks, but not been out too long. Plenty of minutes before he got injured, of course. So yeah, give him an hour tomorrow and rest him after that. Just manage him properly. Another hour against Chelsea, and let's just see where he goes from there. But we've also got Anthony Gordon who can fit in there. So maybe start with Anthony Gordon wide left or wide right, Barnes wide left, Isak through the middle, and then move Gordon in the middle and bring Miggy or Murphy on or whoever. But I'm hoping that Isak starts and gets an hour out of him, during which time he scores 3 goals or 4 goals.
I mean, he didn't really give a lot away about the team selection. I mean, I know he doesn't really give a lot away any in general. But you know what? It just, for me, not enough questions were asked about the game itself, which I don't know whether I kind of sat there this morning, thinking everything's going to be based on England. They're going to ask him what to think of a German manager, etc., which they did. And Eddie answered in a diplomatic way, as he'd probably expect Eddie to. But, this is a huge game for Newcastle tomorrow, given how the season's gone so far. And, again, I just don't think there was as many questions asked. Miggy didn't come back till late yesterday, so he made a point of that a couple of times. So I don't think Miggy will start the game, Billy, like you possibly suggested in the preview.
Well, he's that fit, I don't think he will anyway.
Yeah, well, there is that as well. But there's also Bruno came back. I think he said yesterday. But of course, he didn't mention. In last night's show, there was a question of, is Bruno fit, because he came off for Brazil, but he never mentioned any problem with Bruno. So Bruno will be playing tomorrow. There's no doubt about that.
No doubt.
Again, just confirm what he said about Isak. He's trained very well. He trained at the start of this week and looked good. So he'll be in contention for the weekend. I love that he says in contention for the weekend when we know fine well he'll be playing. There's just no doubt about that. He also said it was a good break. We gave them some time off at the start of the week, and then we've trained hard. We've worked on quite a lot. Everyone has come back in a good place. The only one we haven't seen is Miggy. He only flew back into the country yesterday. So again, making the point to Miggy, I don't foresee Miggy starting the game. I mean, interestingly, he says we've trained on a lot, Billy, because if in my opinion, set pieces and shooting. I mean, go for goal. Let's try and score some goals by hitting the frigging target. But set pieces as well.
Well, we're going to have to work on them anyway, because Trippier's out for a few weeks, isn't he, with his hamstring? So, we're going to have to find different ways of getting the ball into the box. And I'm guessing serving Isak. I mean, that's got to be the big key to it all, because he's had no service whatsoever this season. And we need to kind of find ways of doing that. And Anthony Gordon obviously wasn't there for the first bit because he was with England. But I think he returned pretty early from the England thing. So, hopefully they can find some way of getting service into Isak. I mean, obviously, no Bruno there wouldn't help that, but or Tonali, so we shall see. But I'm hoping to see Isak more threatening to us because he gets more service.
I'd love to see Tonali take some set pieces. I really do. I just think he's the quality that we need. Tangy's asking any updates on Botman. I haven't seen the press conference. He was asked at the end on Sven Botman. Said that obviously Sven had been putting some pictures on social media and stuff like that about him getting fitter and fitter. And then he agreed. He said, yes, he's in a very, very good place at the moment. He's where we want him to be at this stage of his recovery. But he was then asked the question, do you see Botman coming in before the next international break? And he was like, no, it is still going to be looking like Christmas. So even though Sven Botman is where he is, it looks like lessons have been learned, Billy, and they're certainly going to take no chances on Sven Botman, just like they're not taking chances on Callum Wilson. They're going to make sure that they are 100% before they even come back into the reckoning.
I think this is all down to Mr. Bunce, isn't it?
Yes.
His kind of influence over the club now, and people have got to take notice of what he says. Strange that we've not heard any news about Jamal Lascelles. I've got to say, everything's about Botman. No one's asking about Jamal Lascelles, poor fella. He's had the same injury. Yeah. And he was supposed to come back at the same time, but it was probably a little bit later than Sven. So, it's odd that no one's asking about Jamal, but there we go.
Yeah. I want to see a goal from a set piece next few games. We've been poor at them this season. Absolutely. Rachel says, unrelated, I'm so excited about your assistance, puppy. I sponsor guide dogs, and my latest Albus has just got his new partially sighted owner. Too cute. I hope your new furry friend helps you loads. Thank you, Rachel. That's really nice. That's a good excuse to put his picture back up, really, isn't it, Billy? I mean, he
helped get out of bed early this morning, that's for certain.
Oh, he helped me get up this morning at 10 to 6. Yes, no doubt about it. He's still very nervous. He's not the bouncy, playful puppy that he should be at the minute. He's just lying down and sleeping a lot. But I take that's just because he hasn't even been in the new home 24 hours yet. So I'm putting it down to that, Billy. So
he'll be fine.
He'll be bouncing around chewing things in a few days, no doubt about it. But thank you for that, Rachel. Let's have a look. Baz Down Under says Longstaff has been training with Eddie during the break. Might start. I think it depends how Bruno is.
Yes.
I really think that he'll start Tonali and Joe Linton tomorrow. I think Joe Linton improved mightily well against Everton. Was looking back to his, not his best, but certainly better than he has been in the previous games. Tonali is flying right now, so I think Tonali starts as well. I'd be terribly annoyed if he left Tonali out again and blaming it on national duty. He can't do that now. Especially when Bruno's just coming back into the country and he'll probably play. But if Bruno's not fit, then, I think we all said last night that would be Longstaff coming in, wouldn't it, rather than Willock?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think he's next Saxon on the rank. I'm kind of concerned about Joe Linton because the Everton game was ready-made for him, really, because it was a physical battle. Brighton aren't like that. They're very much more technical. And Joe Linton may get passed by tomorrow. We shall see, but hopefully not.
Indeed. Ollie's asking if we've seen Gary Lineker's podcast with Longstaff and Shearer this morning. It was decent. No, I haven't. I will watch it, though. PA basis can't even take a chance on Wilson, even when he's fully fit. Tangy says, not long until Christmas. Can't wait until we have Botman back. Hopefully he gets back to the player he was. It's absolutely because, listen, we all know what happened with Botman. And, when he first came back, Billy, from that injury, he didn't look fit at all. He was struggling for pace. He made a few mistakes as well. Let's not forget. So I'm hoping to see a little bit of a massive Botman back to his Rolls-Royce-esque performances.
Yeah, we're going to have to break him in gently, though, aren't we? Really, bring him on as a sub 2 or 3 weeks, get half an hour in his legs each time, and then half here and there, and build him up. So by Christmas, he's ready to go full blast. That's the game for it. And if he comes back fully fit, then we will see that. It's got to be psychologically dodgy with his knee. Them knees are kind of worry about it going again, don't you? But I'm guessing a professional doesn't think like that. And
I think the way surgery is these days as well, Billy, I think it's a lot different. Even 10 years ago now. Some of these injuries that the players have had last season are, used to be career threatening, didn't they?
Yeah,
they were really bad. But I think the medical advancements, and obviously I know all about that coming from a Parkinson's point of view. The medication has improved so much since the likes of Muhammad Ali and when Michael J. Fox got diagnosed all those years ago. It's come a long way, and it's keeping my sort of symptoms like tremors and things like that to a very, very minimum because of the advancement in medication. So it's the same all around. So hopefully Botman will come back as that Rolls Royce. Fubas has just missed a few minutes, so sorry if you've covered this already, but any news on Bruno? Someone mentioned on the show last night that he was injured playing for Brazil. All Eddie said was, Fubar, that he was back in the country and he'd be training today, so there was nothing mentioned of him being injured. So I think we'll see Bruno tomorrow, definitely. Tonali's bossing the international games, then Howe leaves him out. No, he won't. Mike says, yeah, I've got my wee sister's funeral today, so need something to cheer me up. The TDR family. Mike, I hope everything goes well. If you want a good laugh and try and sort of, we'll dedicate that TTR Friday to your sister. How about that? So tune in tonight at 7. We'll dedicate the show to your sister, and hopefully you'll have a good laugh and help you not get over it, obviously, but it's an awful day for such a thing to happen. But we're with you all the way, Mike. Rachel says we needed childproof locks for the cupboards for hours. He got everything otherwise. Yeah, that'll all come for my dog. I'm pretty sure. Right, a few more comments from the manager. Kieran Trippier, Billy. Obviously, this made me laugh when he said this, because this is kind of the norm for when players get injured nowadays at Newcastle. Kieran picked up a hamstring injury. It's probably nothing too serious, but it will keep him out for a few weeks.
Yeah. A few weeks, no number on it. A few weeks becomes a couple of months. We shall see. Hopefully with Mr. Bunsen. I keep forgetting his first name, James.
Yeah, I keep calling him Mike for some reason. And
I keep calling him Steve.
Steve's the boxing guy on on the radio, isn't he? Yeah. I just worry when he says it's probably nothing serious, because we've heard this so many times down the years of probably, that word probably, and then we end up not seeing the player for 3 months.
I do wonder if they're kind of getting him ready for the January transfer window, if I'm perfectly honest.
Well, I mean, there is that. I mean, somebody did say in the chat, Baz is right, somebody said in the chat last night that he was in training. I think it would only be light training if it was anything. He's not in with the he's not in with the team, so he's out for a few weeks. We'll not see him. But I guess we'll not see him before the next internationals, Billy. That's the way I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
Time will tell. But he's not available, so I think Livramento will walk straight to the team tomorrow.
Yeah, 100%. Let's hope he can regain the form of last season, because this season he hasn't been as shining example of a defender, has he? But hopefully, with no pressure on his back now, he can come in and perform like he did last season.
Yeah,
he'll have his hands full tomorrow. Whether it be
it could be anybody, couldn't it? Because the switch over, yeah.
They've got all sorts of pace down that left flank. So
absolutely. Not an easy time. But listen, if he wants to be the future of England at right back, he's got to play these players on a regular basis and perform, and be at his very best. Now, he did go and talk about Louis Miley, Lewis. I mean, even the journalists called him Louis today. So I get the feeling he's wanting to be called Louis, but whatever. Eddie said he's been back in training during the week. He has looked really good. Looks like he has not been away. It has been great to see. We will reintroduce him at the right time. He will have some competition. He is coming back into a great environment. Very positive, that. And I know, Eddie's obviously a big fan of Miley. And, we were speaking about it last night, weren't we, on the show, that, Longstaff might be looking at this thinking, Miley's coming back, who for me is a better player than Longstaff. I have to say that. I think he's performed better than Longstaff when he's been available. And if you were to say to me, who would you rather have come on as a substitute, Miley or Longstaff? I'd say Miley straight away, Bill.
Depends what we're after, I guess. I guess if we need a goal, I think Miley's your man. If we need to kind of sit on a lead, I think Longstaff might be. But
although Miley can play that defensive
role,
I
think Longstaff's got a bit more energy, physicality about him.
Yeah.
But again, it's horses for courses. I guess if we're chasing the game, Miley's creativity is obviously more than Longstaff. So yeah, I think he might get the bench tomorrow.
I mean, looking at his picture, Billy, he's definitely bulked up a bit. There's no doubt about it. He's got this. He's changed his hairstyle as well. He's got this sort of very black, dark hair now with sort of a side parting and a little bit of a quiff. He's
fucking Elvis by the sound of it.
Anyway, now the next run of games is, we know, Billy, is very, very difficult for Newcastle. They've got 2 games against Chelsea. They've got Arsenal coming up as well. It's a tough run of games, this. And we said this before the international break. This will probably tell us where Newcastle United are realistically with the games coming up. And he said there's some tough games in there, which are great challenges for us. The group of games we have to come, 3 at home and some tough away games. We haven't hit top gear, but we have been resilient and hard to beat. But we do need to find our best form to get some good results from these matches. Now, I guess at least he's mentioning again, Billy, that we haven't hit top gear yet, which we clearly haven't. I mean, yes, we played very well against Man City, but it's not the Man Cities that bother me. It's the Brightons, it's the Evertons, it's the Forests. Those where we in the Wolves games where we just don't seem to be able to, or we haven't raised our game.
We haven't created enough, anywhere near enough, and that's the problem for me. And we've had to rely on world-class goals and Barnes and people like that to get us through, get results that maybe we didn't even deserve. So I think we need to start creating some more clear-cut chances, get our XG ratios up. Let's have some proper service to the strikers and go from there. Until we do, we're going to be relying on world-class goals. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen week in, week out.
Well, the thing is, in my opinion, Billy, we haven't tested the opposition goalkeepers anywhere near enough as we should.
No, I agree. We're trying to walk the ball in, aren't we?
Yeah, and I don't think, when you look at Brighton, I guess they play a high line that might play into our hands tomorrow. But I think they're a lot more disciplined, I think, Brighton, than Tottenham, who play a similar game, I guess. But Brighton are a lot more disciplined, and that was proved when they came back against Tottenham last game out. But it's against the likes of the Chelseas and the Arsenals where, they do defend very well and they can play high or low. It doesn't matter. They can play any system. And we can't walk the ball in against a Chelsea or an Arsenal. It's just, that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
we've got to take some shots.
We've got to be more. What's the word for it? Not conclusive, but you know what I'm saying. We've got to be more hungry to get great chances, trying to score the perfect goal. Not going to happen. You've got to use the widths. You've got to use the central players. Just vary it a bit. Trying to walk it through the middle every time because the wide players aren't doing anything. But we've got to be kind of unpredictable, and we've got to be quality in what we do. And I've been disappointed actually with our creating of chances this year. I really have. Alexander Isak has been a peripheral figure because he hasn't had any service. You've got to give him service.
Yeah. I mean, look, for me, we've got some fantastic shooters in the team, who can really shoot the ball. Bruno can shoot the ball when he wants to. Joe Linton certainly can. Tonali, without a doubt. Isak, as you say. Barnes and Gordon certainly can strike a ball. There's no reason why we can't get more shots on goal. Even if the it can create problems, can't it? You shoot it on goal, a deflection, a save by the keeper, palming it out, and then chances are created from that. I don't know why we don't shoot more often, but I guess we'll see tomorrow to see if that improves.
I'd like to get more chances actually in the penalty box. Give the striker something to go at.
Yeah,
we really haven't, you see.
Is that sunshine in Coventry, Billy?
I think it may be. Yeah, I think it may be.
Bloody hell. Now, one thing he did say was that Dan Burn extended his contract, Billy, in the summer until 2026.
Yeah, that's good news for him, I guess. He's a peripheral part of the squad, isn't he? He's a leader.
But why was there no announcement about that? Nobody said a bloody word about it.
No, it's interesting, isn't it?
Very
interesting.
Look, I'm not too disappointed with that. I think Dan Burn's done enough to have a contract extension. Certainly this season, he's playing very well at centre back. I have no problem. I did have big problems last year with Dan Burn at left back, but I think since he's come back into centre defence, his proper position, he's looked really solid. Yes, he could improve with his heading in the other penalty area, but nobody can take away the clearances and the defending that he's done this season. It's been absolutely solid as a rock. So, yeah, I mean, obviously Botman's got to come back as well. He's going to have a headache when all the centre-backs are fit. That's a big if, though, because, we're talking like everybody will be fit at the same time, and that very rarely happens with Newcastle United.
Yeah.
Tangy says, why I like Barnes is he isn't frightened to shoot from distance. David says 60 minutes for Isak and Asula on for him for 30. He needs game time and might just nick 1 or 2 and gain experience and confidence. David, I like your thinking, but I don't think that's the road Eddie Howe would go down. I think if Isak plays 60 minutes, he takes him off and he just moves Gordon into the middle and probably he'll either bring Murphy or Miggy on.
Or Willock, yeah.
Or Joe Willock, yeah. I don't think that Asula, in Eddie's own mind at the moment, is in the right place to start the game or to even play half an hour of the game. And I want to see Asula for longer. We saw him briefly in pre-season, didn't we? And he looked a handful, but obviously it's very different to Premier League, Bill.
I mean, even against Wimbledon, we didn't give him any service, did we? Then this is a concerning thing for me. We're not getting our centre forward service, and all strikers need service. Only the exceptional ones can create goals themselves. Alexander Isak can, but I don't think Will Asula will ever be like that. He's more of a powerful striker, isn't he? You've got to give him the ball in the area. We didn't do it for him. It was unfortunate for him, but I mean, it's just what every striker's had to deal with this year. Even Gordon's really not had the service. We had Gordon in the side. We were throwing crosses in for him. When he wants the ball between the centre halves.
Absolutely. Kieran says Dan Burnett centre back is good. However, if we want to be top 4, he needs to be on the bench. Look, nobody's saying, Kieran, that Dan Burns a starter when everybody's fit, because we know that isn't the case. Without a doubt, Botman and Cher are our number 1 centre back pairing, and they will be a force again. However, Dan Burn in reserve on the bench, absolutely no problem with that at all, because if we need a Dan Burn to come on, defend a lead or whatever you can, we've got him to come on at centre back or come on and shore it up, Billy, for 3 centre backs for the last 10 minutes of a game, 15. Why not?
Johnson, even if we have to play a back 3, we can exactly that.
Yep. Brighton's high line can be ruined by pace in behind, in the same way we got chances against Spurs. Yep, but we've got to utilize that and use it well, which we haven't really been doing. Dominic says, hi, Paul and Billy. You can see the influence of the new medical setup. Taking time with Botman is one example. Yeah. Again, it's very important the lessons were learned from last season, and the way Eddie's talking in these press conferences now, it does seem like things have been, well, how do I put this, Billy? Been discussed, but I think it would have been a very hard discussion. And
I don't think Eddie Howe would have been happy being placed in that position in the first place, where he really didn't know what he was talking about, because he hadn't been told all the information properly. To put him in that position to throw under the bus really was wrong, and to get some more medical people in with more experience and football experience was key for Eddie Howe. At least he can come out now with a little bit of certainty. Although having said that, he's still saying the same things, isn't he? Weeks rather than, so we shall see.
It's a big we shall see as well. But you know what it is? Newcastle at the minute, we just want players back fit. We want them to start just shooting more and things like that. And that's what, that's what wasn't asked again in the press conference, Billy. And again, focusing on, England. England's now done. The international break's over. We're all focused again now on the Premier League. Yes, we were focused on the new manager during the week for England because, whatever the Muppets say, I'm really happy with that appointment, and we'll see where we go with it when he takes over in January. But today should have, for me, once he'd answered one question about England, these journalists have got qualifications and stuff. Why are you still asking them the same questions over and over again? But it's the same question, just asked differently. And Eddie's given the same answer time and time again. And then it's annoying. Why isn't somebody sitting there going, Eddie, the fans, maybe we've noticed as well that a lot of the time when we're not really shooting the ball or crossing the ball when opportunities arise. Is that a tactical thing? Why don't these people ask him the questions that we all want?
Well, the first thing I'll be asking is, are we creating enough chances for you, Eddie?
Yeah.
And clearly he'd say no. And why is that? That's the question you've got to ask. That's the key thing for me, is that we're not creating anywhere near enough chances that we did 2 years ago. Nothing like.
Or you could ask him, is there any way we can change? How are you going to get Isak going? What's the situation with Isak? Do you think we need to play a little bit more to his strengths? Get him to talk about, because Eddie loves talking about that. He loves talking about tactics, and he loves talking about individual players and how to utilize them and get them
better. He don't want to give too much away either, does he?
No, but he doesn't have to, does he? I mean, if he says that, he could turn around, and if you asked him the question about Isak, he could turn around and say, well, yes, we've looked at that in training. We know that, maybe early doors, Alexander hasn't been in the game very much, and we need to home in on what he's good at and how we can bring the best out of him. And we've worked on that in training. End of story. Yeah. He doesn't have to give anything away, but at least he's been asked the question, and he doesn't get asked anything about the situation with certain things that haven't gone well this season. And it's annoying, because these are the questions that we want answering, not questions about England time and time again. When he's asked it once, he said, no, I'm not bothered now, it's gone. I was fully focused on Newcastle United. End of story.
I think the key to it all is getting players around Isak. You need to get your Joe Lintons, your Tonali's around him, as well as the wingers. Because if you can get people around him, then I think he doesn't feel so isolated. Obviously, that's natural. And Isak to be isolated is the worst thing possible, because he doesn't compete physically. And if you don't compete physically, you can't be isolated. As simple as that for me.
It's just annoying, because I'd like to hear Eddie say, or understand where the fans are coming from, because really the media, I know they're asking questions for themselves, but they're there to represent everybody, I guess, and ask questions that the fans want answering, but they never do that. And too many people are. I mean, I'd feel a little bit stupid if I was one of those reporters, Billy, sitting in that press conference, and he'd been already asked 2 or 3 times about the England situation, and then it came to me, and I'm sitting there with my notepad thinking, oh, I've got to ask him the same question, but differently worded, and he's going to come out with the same answer. I feel a little bit stupid.
Well, it's madness, isn't it? You think that the journalists would kind of come together before the actual press conference and kind of find out what each other's asking, so you get more information out of the manager instead of asking the same question over and over again. Ridiculous. I know they're competing for the scoop, if you like, but why ask the same question over and over again? You're wasting your time, surely.
But clearly, when he's already answered it the first time and said what he said, that's the scoop gone. There's no scoop. Exactly. You know what I mean? He was never, for me, it looks like he was never in the running for it, Billy, despite all the media reports linking him with the job, saying he was #1 favourite at one time. Apparently, he never had any discussions with England. Look, it doesn't matter anymore. Thomas Tuchel is now the England manager.
It's off the table for at least 18 months, isn't it? So
exactly.
So let's ask him the question.
talk about the important things about the match tomorrow and what we're going to do to get certain players firing. Realistically, how long do you think Callum's got left to be out? When do you think he'll be training with the group again? Tino Livramento's, will he start tomorrow? Yes or no? Because obviously Kieran Trippier's out. It's important for Livramento to continue his upward curve and get back to form again. Ask him all those sort of things.
And let's not forget that he's not had a right back in the club this week because Kraft's been away with the Swedes and Livramento's been away with England and Trippier's injured. So,
the good thing is, I think he mentioned this in the press conference that the England players came back obviously on Monday because they were done and dusted. So basically, I think the England players have had nigh on a full week of training, which is pretty good considering they normally play on a sometimes a Saturday and Tuesday, and this time I think next international break it's Thursday and Sunday again. So
the under-21 played a bit later, but Lewis Hall only played 20 minutes on Tuesday, so
yeah.
I think he'll be ready to go Saturday.
But even talking about the youngsters, Sanusi's performance for the under-18s, he got an assist and ask him about that, and is he still training with the first team squad, and where's he in your reckoning and things like that? How is he making progression? I don't understand why they don't ask all these questions.
We know Anthony Munda was training with the first team this week. Why not ask about him?
Yeah, you brought him up, Eddie. What was the reasons for bringing him up? Was it because obviously people were away with internationals, or are you impressed with the kid? Is he pushing you to sort of bring him into the fold on the first team basis full time? Nothing really gets asked. He's a good player.
He's supposed to be a holding midfielder at a 6. Yeah. Whenever I've seen him, they've played him a little bit further forward. He's got creativity as well, so really like watching him. I really like watching him. The 2 or 3 times I've seen him, he's looked really, really good.
Yeah, absolutely. Tangy says, what do you think about Pep Guardiola only signing a 1-year extension to his contract? Do you think he will become Newcastle manager in the future? No. Never say never, but I'm saying never.
I don't very much doubt that.
Yeah, I think he'll go to another league and challenge himself, if not retire. Or international, yeah, or take a sabbatical or something like that and have a year off.
It's funny how the 1-year extension ends kind of when
Tuchel's contract. Billy, let's not start these rumours. We're not in the know, as your shirt says. We are not in the know.
I'm just adding 2 and 2 together here.
Yes, surmise.
If Tuchel wins the World Cup, if Tuchel was to win the World Cup, he's going nowhere, is he?
No. He'll get a start year, won't he? It's just a German manager winning the World Cup for England. It's got a certain beautiful ring to it.
It has, but we have certain people that won't like it.
Well,
that's not England. We've got a German manager.
Yeah, it was like when Andy Murray won Wimbledon, wasn't it? Oh, the Scots were like, he's not English, he's Scottish. He's not British, he's Scottish. Oh, give our man.
The way around, wasn't it? British when he won and Scottish when he lost.
Yes. Well, it was always the case. But there you go, guys. That is the press conference reaction done and dusted for you. Thank you very much. Nearly 700 watching across both platforms. That is incredible for an 11 o'clock show. Thank you so much to everybody for tuning in. Don't forget, we are back with your perfect way to start the weekend. TTR Friday tonight at 7 o'clock. All the usual features with Billy's beef. You've got a whole host of things you could talk about tonight, Billy. Sam's wine, of course. Stato will be on if he gets back home in time. But of course, we'll have the fan forum as well in the second part of the show. So get yourselves on and let us know how you're feeling ahead of the Brighton game. So lots to go through. We'll have a really good laugh. And don't forget, we've got some giveaways as well for our members. So if you're not a member, get yourself signed up and ready to go for the prize giveaway tonight on the show. It should be a cracker. But in the meantime,
storage night as well. Got a belted bedtime storage tonight.
Oh God! So this might be our final ever show on the channel tonight at 7 o'clock.
It's not rude.
Yeah, but Billy, you were warming up quite nicely last night for TTR Friday. You were just just warm the engines a little bit.
I certainly was, yes.
Yes, you were. So join us at 7. Thank you for watching this morning. Thank you to our mods. And of course, thank you to Billy Bob and you guys out there for tuning in. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we'll see you all again at 7. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, folks. Take care.
How are the lads and lasses?
Come back and check out some green.